All right, y'all. We back with another full episode. We're going to kick things off immediately with the Eazy The Block Captain versus Kyd Slade talk. The disrespect I want to talk about, the business, the politics, the ducking, the promo, the history of matchmaking and match taking. I want to cover those particular topics. I think it's real easy for us to pull up the clips of these two guys, which I'm still going to do, and say like, look what Eazy said, and look what Kyd Slade said, and the battle we want to see it. Let's talk a little bit more about how this stuff really happens behind the scenes, and we're also going to hone in because I don't know Kyd Slade. I never really had any conversations with him or back and forth with him. I don't know him at all, but I have a lot of interactions with Eazy, so I could speak more about my beliefs as it relates to Eazy and some of his positions, and we're going to get into that. Let's build a little bit, but let's start with taking battles that the culture is promoting at particular times. Okay. Now we're going to get into the whole part of is it good for the battler at hand or not, just to be fair. But let's in general talk about like one of the biggest ones, Lux and Daylight, for example. Now, I think those two guys, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, they held out. And there was so much hype around the battle. There was so much talk and buzz and the culture pushing for it. And even outside the culture, other celebrities that talked about it at times, that I feel like those two guys looked at that like that's the biggest battle and check I will possibly ever get. It's got longevity to it where if I just hold out long enough, I'm going to bump into like $1 million behind this battle sooner or later. And I think that, there was cause for those two guys at certain moments and certain times within, the buzz of it to think it was that big of a deal. Maybe I can get 100, 200, half a million. There was some trolling involved. Daylight trolled a lot. Me and Lux just walked out the studio, or we just finished the battle last weekend. But then there was also times I think we saw Lux say things like they wanted to do it on their own, and the negotiations back and forth. And will it be a Madison Square Garden battle? Will it be on this card, or this league, or that league, or this sponsor? And here we are. What are we like? 4, 5 years later, no Daylight and Lux. Of course, it could be promoted back up to a great turnout because it is a huge matchup. But I personally think that whatever the peak financially would have been for that, I think that they've left that behind. I think that they've already missed the biggest peak of financial return that the battle can make. You can still make good money on it, though, if it's done the right way. What are some other ones? How about Mook and Briz? Mook and Briz, even the way the coach has continued to respond to Briz, like within like the last year. It's like it turned into blaming and looking at Briz's career and why he's not battling. And, the whole thing about, oh, these guys just brawled on stage, bring them together for a battle. That's not even as much of the hype anymore. It's died down so much more. These guys have crossed paths in different respects, different blogs and interviews. It lost that true grudge of a feeling like, oh shit, it's up. It lost that. Will we still click play and pay for it? Absolutely. But will it meet its financial peak just like Lux and Daylight? Probably not. Probably not. Now let's talk about something like, let's say, a Kyd Slade and an Eazy The Block Captain. I think Eazy The Block Captain, I don't want to say moves. He at least talks like the culture is still in its heyday at times, business wise, as far as like, oh, you got to pay me. I'm looking for this. And niggas offer me something that's light or whatever, or even that he is at his financially returning peak. And one thing that I caught on that shows me that is his attitude towards booking it himself. Fun fact, people, not just the trenches. Many battle rappers that have leagues, they don't turn over as much profit for themselves as they do if somebody else books them. That is an absolute fact. Okay. If I book T Top versus Calico, part of the grudge, right? Part of that brawl. Um, that's a big battle. It would be painted in the whole backdrop of the fight and all that type of shit. They probably lean on me to give them 2 big checks. And I probably would, right? If I was interested in booking the battle. If Calico or T Top did that battle themselves on their own league, different story. Very high possibility they would make more money with me than they would on their own. That's like Eazy asking other leagues to book him opposed to utilizing his own platform. Eazy doesn't pay himself. He has to have a certain type of turnout and success on the back end to get paid. You know, like if it was a huge card, a sponsor involved, paying for him and Av, he'd be making more than he is on his own trenches situation right now. That is like lacking promo, which is even being shown here with Kyd Slade jumping into the mix and just pushing shit out to the side. Like, let's talk about me, and I'm not even booked versus this guy. You know, so it's a different ball game business wise. You look at like the Calico and Shook card and see the lead in of, or even the aftermath of some of the things Calico was explaining about him and Clean Paper. You know, like, oh, I'll call around, get a couple dollars or whatever for Clean, and you know, we gotta get our money on the back end. Clean knows we gotta drop the YouTube video, which dropped immediately. Calico versus Should to try to pull some of that money back. If Calico goes and jumps on a Summer Madness or Max Out or whatever, his check is more than what he just turned over for himself on his own card. Okay, that's a reality for many battlers and many cards, and that's why one of the reasons why Eazy would be like, I gotta book it, because if I could book it myself, own the rights to it going forward, and make more than somebody else would pay me, that would be the priority over somebody else doing it. If he's so focused on money, like he always says, I ain't the money. If you're gonna pay me, pay me. He said he's taking calls about the amount of money, and it's not that, right? So going back to that, closing out that last point about where the culture is, who's paying, what the Easies get paid of the world or whatever. Nobody's offering, like, some of these battle rappers, they might have the mentality of, I'm a $20,000 nigga when you book me. The culture, the business, the league owners, and the sponsors obviously don't feel that way, or else they'd be calling you and offering you that. You know, the draw of battle rap as a whole is down. So I see through that when I hear things about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's a holdup, or where it would take place. I see through that. But holding up Eazy The Block Captain versus a Kyd Slade, for example, and saying, you know, like Kyd Slade needs to build up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get towards that after we play some footage. That's not my position on things either, but I want to talk about that backdrop of battles that should have taken place and they would have been at their peak financially, return wise. They didn't, and I doubt they'll ever have those opportunities to get back to that type of return again, based on what the cultures continue to decline towards. Now we're gonna bring back old shit and try to max it out. Good luck. All right. So is Eazy ducking the battle? Uh I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't believe so. And it's not just because he has all-time greats on his resume, right? Sometimes you can get to a certain point in your career and know that you're walking into a certain type of battle and know that that's not good for me. That's gonna be a bad turnout. This person has so much personal energy towards me, or so much dislike towards me. Um, Kyd Slade is talking about his kids already. He's talking about behind the scenes stuff that Eazy, it would look bad on Eazy or whatever. He's already saying this stuff, and the battle's not booked. So you know you got to stand in front of that. And Eazy's talking about all this publicist stuff, and I'm trying to do acting gigs and all that. This is, we're being honest here, people. This isn't about any overly bias or nothing like that. This is what pushed Math away to a degree as well. And Math admit this. You know, he got MEO taking off. Like, let's say Eazy wants to act, okay? But you got MEO in comparison taking off, right? He got this other platform or means of making money, or this other job. Now, if I take another battle and somebody goes in there and does what Jag did third round, that because I am who I am, or I got these other ventures going on and other type of eyes and sponsors and whatnot, that goes viral and I get hurt and I possibly lose fans, deals, sponsors. Can I still get to the red carpet if Kyd Slade is saying this about me, this about Rem, this about my kids, this about hitting on women or whatever? That, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it even gets an even higher price tag. You know what I'm saying? So the threat of it isn't, to me, oh, what's the depth of Kyd Slade's resume? Me personally, you know, you never tell that to. I'm the inventor of blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go for none of that type of shit. So I'm always paying attention when people tell me It's impossible for me to duck this guy if I already battled a K Shine or Goods or a Hitman, or every battle is different. Styles make fights, energy changes, grudge changes. Nobody expects Av to go at Eazy the way that a Kyd Slade would, even though Av has a bigger resume than Kyd Slade, right? I think so. We got to look past that. We're not allowing people to just say like, "Oh, resume." You can still duck for other reasons. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that it's deeper than that when people choose their opponents sometimes. Okay, you got to see that. And Kyd Slade obviously got no reservations about trying to hurt Eazy as bad as possible. So you got to take that into account. You got to say like, all right, this gonna be real bloody and muddy water. I need to be compensated a certain level for that. So let's keep an eye on that. All right, next up, the promo. We know Av isn't a big promoter, so you don't blame somebody or come at somebody for what they already stand on or what they've already showed us. I always say that asking battle rappers for promotion or cards to be heavily promoted, we're in a point of insanity. We do it every card, every battle, and we come up short 90+% of the time. So that makes us insane. This is just the nature of battle rap. Like some of your favorites don't promote, accept it. Av has already been like that. When you book him, you know that. Okay. So there is no crying and complaining after that. Okay. But to see Kyd Slade come in and now you finally have a battle other than Av and Eazy, which is the main event to his upcoming card, getting talked about as it relates to Eazy. There's not a single battle on his card that the bloggers are picking up, but every blogger, including me right now, are now picking up what? Eazy the Block Captain versus Kyd Slade. He's forced Eazy multiple times to cut on his camera and to address him, to talk about him, to tweet him, to respond to him, to create the dust up, to discuss the narratives. Kyd Slade has pushed that over on Eazy. And Eazy, of course, you know, he's still doing content on it. And I know in his mind, he probably also thinks that even though I'm addressing him, this can possibly still help some of my promo with Ab. I don't think that that's significant. Will you get a couple new people that tune in for the Kyd Slade topic to maybe say, oh, yeah, by the way, the pay-per-view is this date. Let me buy it as well. Sure. But you're not going to be able to leverage Kyd Slade to make another $10,000 on your stream. You know what I'm saying? Pointing towards your Av battle. It's a battle now that all the bloggers are talking about, and it shows how much they care about that match, even more than Eazy and Av. So, from a Warrior standpoint, you got to look at that and say the culture wants it. The bloggers are backing this, which means that it's already pre-promoted. And when I announce it, or if we announce it, it's going to get more promo because it's an attractive thing to the bloggers, to the content world, and as well as to the fans, right? You already know that. But to Eazy side, little defense here. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to ignore the business piece. The business piece. I just feel like people's business approaches or what they at least say to the public sometimes ain't always going to align. Like I'm not hearing you're an up and comer or whatever. Like, get out of here. We're not doing that shit. We're not doing that shit. So the promo of this jumping out like that in the meantime, Av and Eazy is underway, shows the power of the matchup. It's that simple. It shows the power of the matchup. Okay. What do we got next? Oh, we got flip flopping. Okay. I always want to keep my eye on stuff like this when it comes to Eazy, because Eazy flip flops a lot. He's not the most honest person in the world. He's told a bunch of lies, and he also shows a pattern of, for lack of better words, jumping out the window. When I say jumping out the window, meaning that he'll say things and he doesn't carry that same energy maybe 24 to 48 hours later or a week later or a month later. And that's fine. Sometimes you can sleep things off, but it just shows a level of sensitivity that when you tweak a nerve, he jumps out on critical or on red, and it's not necessarily who or what he would want to be about as time passes. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, Rosenberg Raw. No different. I will never battle Rosenberg on this and on that. It's his words. Then he sends Frank to Rosenberg Raw to potentially try to book the battle and negotiate it. Rosenberg Raw turned it down. You know what I'm saying? Dick sucker, you or whatever. I would never ask somebody I call a dick sucker to book me or to judge a battle or no shit like that, or to work with me or to host my card or some shit like that. It don't make no sense. It don't make no fucking sense unless the original statements or energy wasn't fully fledged in stone. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at the flip flopping nature of Easy, he's doing it again right in front of y'all face. You know, it's I'll never bow to you, blah, 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 this or that. And he's now forcing himself to like, damn, I got caught on camera and address why I wouldn't do the battle now and give y'all explanations to that, because I see everybody's now saying I'm either ducking or they want to see the battle. So now I got to come with an opposite, you know, response to that. Now I got to figure out how to push back and show why I'm not just jumping out real quick to try to make that battle happen, whether it's on the trenches or another league. But then it's not the I'm not battling him, I'll never bow to you. No, because you did this, use a rat, use a snitch, pointing in the camera, all his own streams, his own words. Now it's you're taking calls. How much are you offering me? You can't call me and offer me nothing about something that is it stops. It's not about the money. How many times I gotta show this about Easy? How many times I gotta say this about and I'm not doing I'm not gonna go into the disrespectful lanes or anything like when I was like, oh, he's a prostitute. I'm not doing that right now. I'm cool. I'm cool. This is the middle grounds, ARP, like I said. But he does it so consistently. So consistently. So once again, he's showing that he will go even less than 48 hours, 72 hours from I will never take the battle, you're a rat, you're this, you're that, to if the right number came across, and if it wasn't, he had to book it himself, it would fully be on the table. Just like Rosenberg Roy, just like this person that's your op or that you hate, or this person that you call a dick sucker, or this person that you don't like, or this person that you're into it with, or that person over there. It's all it's just how Easy is, okay? And he puts it out there for everybody to see. So the flip-flopping nature culture, if you guys really want to see the battle, he will conform. He already has. Okay. He's not standing on it. A dollar amount will make him do the battle. Period. That's what he's saying again. That's what he's showing y'all once again. All right. Kyd Slade deserving the battle. I haven't even pulled these clips up yet. Kyd Slade deserving the battle. This one's very simple for me because we start to talk about resume and what you accomplished, and that was cool 2013 and 2014 2015 and all that. And once you got those walls pulled down, blood sweat and tears, rookies and vets, born legacy, Organic versus Gully, close range, and all this stuff that and then up and coming leagues, booking big names to come in and go back and forth with their up and coming talent, local talent. That shit is dead. It's about the fight. It's about the matchup. It's about the promo. It's about the grudge. It's about the talent. You know what I'm saying? If you want to move like you a super top tier, that business will come to you regardless. It'll come your way regardless, or it won't because people already look at you a certain way. All right, like nobody will ever call Murder Mook and offer him 10 bands for a 3-round battle on another league's card or some shit like that. That's the perception that he's created. That's the words behind the scenes. That's what's known behind the leagues. And that's just what it is, business wise and reputation wise. Okay. Easy doesn't fit that bill. He doesn't fit that bill of I'm this mega guy, and the last thing I could do is battle a Kyd Slade. Okay. Nobody, and I didn't even say this back then. I don't give two shits about Head Ice versus Eazy the Block Captain. I don't care about the battle. All right? I don't need to go further. I don't give a fuck about it. What else? If you would have, even before this back and forth, asked me about Eazy the Block versus Kyd Slade or Eazy the Block versus Av, I would have been more interested in Kyd Slade because of the drug talk thing that is obviously between them that fans have been talking about for quite some time. That factor right there, and also knowing that Av doesn't really promo. He's going to get up there with great rapping, great punchlines, and we could hope for a classic. But Eazy wants to do main events. He wants to do big promotions. He wants to have big views when it drops on YouTube. That's not as fitting with an Av rollout as it would be, for example, with a Kyd Slade rollout. And now we're seeing it. So I would have picked that matchup even beforehand. Okay. The deserving thing for Blood Sweat. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind putting anybody that would be like loyal to the trenches, like in with top tiers on some rookies and vets, blood, sweat, and tears type of shit. Doesn't mean that they deserve it in that respect. They don't. But you just have to believe in that. You have to believe in the talent versus talent. And we can't talk about the sellability of that because it's being sold, promoted more than Eazy versus Av. And who picked Eazy versus Av? Obviously, if it's the main event on trenches, he's the leader in that decision, right? Unless it's a sponsor. All right. So all this, he doesn't deserve it. That's bullshit. And the culture is just way past that. You just can't be circumstantial like that and go back and forth. One day you can't say, I'm going to give one of my youngins a top tier. But as for me, the battle y'all want to see, nah, he's got to go through this person and that person and this person first. You know, he got streams pretty much saying some of this type of stuff about Tay-Rock. So when you feel a certain way about this matchup, you're turning into some of the things that you put on Tay-Rock. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. All right, let's pull up some of this footage. Let's go to the Kyd Slade one first. All right, let's see what we're talking about.
Me, you been in jail for minuscule drug deals, bro. That ass. And beating women. I've been in jail for drugs, guns, undercover sales, and that's it. And niggas always telling on me, because I'm a good one to tell on. I always pull up. I always got a bunch of cane on me. You ain't never gonna catch me without no cane. Yeah, I'm the good one to set up. I used to be wildin'. I got set up a few times, nigga. So all that goofy shit you talking about, what you did, we don't believe none of that, nigga. Because we seen you in 2011, 2012. You was with them white boys standing in front of their mom and dad's cars doing that dumbass video dressed like a Jamaican or a Dominican or a Haitian, some form of insurance salesman from another place. It didn't look Philly, though. Bad fits. That was not Philly, though. It wasn't. Parts in your beard, big old hats. Niggas could pull up a battle where you say, you Philly niggas, now y'all even starting to say, I sound like I'm from Philly. Who says that when they from Philly? Y'all niggas saying
I'm just saying, like, Av is booked versus Eazy and he won't do this. That's crazy. And y'all got a problem with Kyd Slade versus Eazy? Who got a problem with this matchup?
Starting to act like I'm from Hartford. Niggas don't say shit like that. Niggas say shit like, oh shit, Slade. Yo, real shit. Every time I was in jail, it ain't take nothing. I get one sentence out in front of niggas and they know exactly where I'm from, nigga.
If they was able to put together an Av versus Eazy face-off, I would expect it to just be some battle rap shit. Imagine Kyd Slade and Eazy. You put them in a room to do a face-off. The way that they talk on cameras, the way that they be talking across that table, and you got something. You got gold. You got sellability. You got buy-in. The niggas really be dancing around. Good business, good matches, good promo. Like, it is, come on. Like, who's out there really acting like this is not a good battle?
I ain't got to brag about it. I ain't got to say it. None of that. You got to go around. I'm from Philly. I'm from the trenches. I'm from the trenches. You want to keep saying you from the trenches. Nigga, that shit don't sound. I know it. You probably feel like you cool saying it, but nigga, that shit ain't cool. We don't give a fuck that you claiming you from the trenches. Show us. You did a whole day in a life documentary and you ain't show us nothing, gang. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. You're in your mid-30s, having mid-life crazy. That's what this nigga having, bro. You trying to transform right now. It's too late, my nigga. Just improve yourself. We could do a versus. Right? Just music, not us, but somebody. Y'all can pick his best songs. Just go turn my album on and press play from track 1 through the rest. Don't skip nothing. I'll win every time. You go to a platform and we both sit down and they turn beats on. I win every time. We go to a studio, they turn some music on. They say, yo, make a song, make some. I win every time. Allowed in the league. You're not in the NBA. You're not the same rappers. You're not the same. Yo, these niggas ain't nothing like niggas, guy. At all. You're not in the NBA. You in the G League, bro. You're getting in where you can fit in. And he act like we don't know that. He think we don't know that he getting in where he can fit in right now. Ain't nobody stupid, nigga. We know what's up. You don't want to take the Slade battle because you've been trying to write drug bars in your house and they just ain't been equaling up to the shit that I talk. And you know that's what niggas want to hear. But little do you know, I'm not coming in there to out drug talk you. I know that that's what I do better than niggas. When have you ever heard me trying to out drug talk somebody? I just beat your ass, nigga. Niggas be like super weird.
I see another clip too. That nigga Slade didn't spare no conversation even around Eazy's son. But I mean, Eazy opened the door to it. Eazy introduced it respectfully. He's the one that did that first, talking about things that he did for his children with his money. And then Kyd Slade is like, nigga, you talk about you did that at an age of 17, like you're late to it. And I'm not getting into all of that. I'm just saying if they willing, or Slade and Eazy's willing to put that type of stuff on the table in grudge, in back and forth without the battle being booked. Like, what are we doing here? All right, now I don't play Eazy's footage, so even if I wanted to do something that was promotional in his direction, I'm not playing his footage. So he's just gonna have to miss out on that when it comes to future streams or future topics that I might want to do that could or could not help or hurt the guy. But speaking of disrespect, I see Eazy tweet this. Now I'm taking this as full all out disrespect because the battle's not booked and he's saying he don't want to do the battle. I know he's flip-floppy, but he's saying as a man to the public, he don't want to do the battle, right? It's just it. It just is what it is. That's it. That's all, right? But he puts this up. This is the only battle I want to see. We've got a 2-on-2 here with Adi Boom. So if one guy's willing to bring up, hey man, you late as far as what you've done for your child, and the other guy's willing to call you all out on multiple platforms, streams, social media, all out rat, you guys have a problem. Now in battle rap, you're allowed to say these things if the matchup is coming or if you're on stage, right? Because if these guys were booked right now, they wouldn't be under the impression like, okay, you said something about me and you involved my child in something, some discussion. Once again, even though Eazy kind of said it first, and you over here, you call me a rat, niggas die behind that and all that shit. If they signed the contract to book the battle, they wouldn't have to see each other. They wouldn't see each other and say like, oh, I need to fight you because you. That's just not how battle rap goes. I don't see either one of them talking about fighting or no violence shit anyway. Okay, yet they're saying fight and deadly level shit to each other. Just me personally. But I'm saying if you're not going to lock in the battle, this would just be another instance of two men willing to go to 10 in levels of disrespect. And Eazy, that would, if you're the bigger guy, you're the more accomplished person of what you say, you're your own man. You'll be doing it right here. You know, you want to sit around calling somebody a rat, you know, stand on it. And you don't want to battle him because of that, possibly, or whatever, cool. And y'all two fellas will have to figure that out if y'all ever cross paths, period. Okay? I guess to close that out, I just say, let's cut the bullshit. Let's not act like business-wise in today's arena, it can't be made to make sense pretty easily. Eazy The Block Captain is not some every time out. We've seen him take the stage over the last couple of years. He's walking away with $20,000. He doesn't always negotiate for that type of money either. Let's cut the shit. He's not making that every time out when he does his own battles on his own league. It just is what it is. That doesn't mean he's not making good money for himself per battle or per venture. Doesn't mean that he's not. So I think if you're able to turn good money or big money on the trenches, I mean, just answer that question. Can you make more money on your own company when you also own the footage and everything than somebody else would pay you? Let the battle rappers answer no. Then they're already saying what I already told you. If that answer is yes, then nobody listens to an excuse of, nah, I wouldn't book it on the trenches. That should be the most benefit to you. If you're on a boss role and you're in an ownership role, that should take precedence over going to step on somebody else's. So if URL calls it calls you for it, it's more beneficial for you to have the footage end up on an app. Mr. I'll even hire a lawyer to battle Hitman and have my YouTube drops and all that type of shit. Huh? It's all contradictory. So to be continued. It's a battle many of us want to see. But I think bloggers, go ahead and continue to see through things that just don't add up so that we can remove all the bullshit if the battle doesn't happen for y'all. And if it does, it'll be a goodie. It'll definitely be more promoted than his current main event that's on the way. Okay. All right. Next up, I'm going to do the reaction to Hitman's Swamp Diss, but I'm going to save that to the last topic to the end because there's these weirdo fucking channels right now that keep claiming Holla's music, even though it's originally produced music in a studio, him and the producer making the shit from scratch. So it's very weird that he's being targeted by some weirdo channels. I posted on my Twitter and everything. Even I'm getting flagged for Holla songs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put it towards the end in case his swamp track is still getting fucked with by these idiots. Even Quarter Lab is working on it right now. So we'll step out of battle rap for a second and we'll be back. I want to go to this paperwork real quick because that little